Hey guys, so in today's video I just wanted to talk about kind of a life update for me. I mentioned in my last video that I'm not working at A&W, and that's not really what this video is about. It's more about why I'm not working there and why what happened is not okay and why you should stand up for what you believe in or for what you think is right, and you shouldn't take crap from other people. So basically, the backstory of this is the store manager at the A&W that I worked at really didn't like me. He could have cared less about me. And that's definitely hard when your boss doesn't like you, but it was especially difficult because I went from being my old boss's number one, and I knew everything that was going on. I knew where everyone's positions were. I knew everything that was happening. If there was a promotion coming, I knew about it. If there was a promotion ending, I knew about it. And when the new manager took over, he was running 2 stores, which is a lot, and I understand that. But I felt like every single day I was walking in to knowing nothing. And I had to find out things from people below me, which is not a big deal, but it just kind of made me feel like an absolute idiot. And I confronted him about this, and he was like, yeah, I'm sorry, I thought I told you these things. But when you can tell that someone is genuinely sorry, I think he just apologized because he just wanted me to shut up. And he was like, if I say sorry, it'll go away, she'll stop talking to me. And I got that vibe, so I was basically like, whatever, I'm just gonna leave it alone. It's not that important to me. And then there was an incident where this time I was in the wrong, and I fully am aware of that, and I'm not gonna sit here or I even told him I was in the wrong. I knew it. I was very upset and frustrated, and I told him that I didn't think he could handle running 2 stores, which I still agree with, because not because of his capabilities, just because it's a lot of responsibility. This is getting way too much to A&W. So basically I told him I didn't think he could run 2 stores. He was pissed at that. He took me into the office, and I could just tell he was pissed, and I was mad at myself because I did that. He didn't provoke me to do that, I just did it. And I knew that I was wrong, and I knew that even though I felt that way, I said it in the wrong way. But he wasn't utilizing me to do what I know my full potential was. I'm very good at knowing what everyone is good at and knowing what everyone needs to improve upon. You could ask me any person on the schedule what they need to work on, what they're good at, and I could tell you no problem. And he didn't really see any value in that. But I think there's a lot of value in that, because knowing where people are strongest, knowing what they need to improve on, even in their attitudes. I know every single person there, their attitude inside, outside, and backwards. But he personally just didn't see the value in me as his assistant, and I could tell that. And then there was a situation where someone was in close contact with someone who had COVID, so they could not come to work. They called him and told him that. Sorry, there's a train going by right now. I don't know if you can hear it. I highly doubt you can, but if you can, I'm sorry. Anyways, they told him that they could not come to work, and he didn't remember this. So no one was coming into work that day. And I didn't find out till I called the person that called in, and I was like, hey, your shift started 5 minutes ago. Why aren't you here? And they're like, oh, I called, I don't want to say his real name. We'll just call him Bill. The store manager, his name will be Bill. They're like, oh, I called Bill on Monday, and he was like, oh yeah, don't come in, I'll find someone to cover it. And I was furious because Bill had done this last week. Literally, with the same person. He forgot that 2 people switched shifts, and then he didn't tell anyone that they had switched. It was kind of a weird situation. So they switched, but it wasn't confirmed by Bill. So one of them thought that it wasn't confirmed, so they showed up for their original shift, and then the other person, the one that was like positive for COVID, they weren't positive, they were with someone who was positive for COVID, they thought that it was approved, so they were working the other person's shift. Long story short, no one was there. And then it happened again after I just told him that it was important, because I know the owner of that store and he does not like scheduling conflicts, and I was trying to save his butt, but I don't think he saw it that way, even though that's what I was truly trying to do. And then it happened again. The problem was that no one really was able to cover it, and I had a Girl Guide meeting that I was in charge of planning. I had planned everything. I had to be there. And I couldn't go because no one was there to work that shift. And I was trying to find someone, and the only person I could find could come at 6, and my meeting started at 6. So I was like, yeah, I can probably come late, but at that point there was no point, because I still had to count all the money and do stuff, because I had things that I needed to do, but I spent my time trying to find someone to cover this shift. And so I texted Bill, and looking back, I don't think that I said anything wrong. I truly was trying to reach out and help. I was like, listen, I know you're probably going through like a lot with trying to run 2 stores, and I understand that it's stressful, but this is unacceptable. And I know for a fact that if roles were switched and I forgot that someone couldn't work, he would be livid. He would tear me to shreds. But I just said it's unacceptable. That's all I said. And I said, listen, I'm willing to help. Like, I know I can do more. I know I can help you more. Even with like scheduling, even if I just do like a rough draft of the schedule, like I can help. And he just sent back that emoji. And I was pissed. I put my phone down, didn't even want to look at it. But then I noticed that we needed to get more rolled coin. The bank was already closed, so there was no point. I'm sorry, this is getting into a long rant about A&W, but I'll get in more to what I want to talk about, but I feel like I have to give some backstory. So sorry if you are just listening to me rant about A&W. Anyway, so I texted Bill and I was like, hey, you'll need to go to the bank tomorrow. And then 10 minutes later, we have our little like security camera like screen set up. I see him walk through the door. He closes the office door and says to me, since when are you my boss? And I thought he was talking about the whole like COVID person thing. He was upset that I said, you will need to go to the bank tomorrow, not we. I didn't say we because I wasn't working, and looking at the schedule, he was the only manager that could drive, so he was the only one that could go. So sorry I used the word you instead of we, but he was pissed. And then he just laid into me about a whole bunch of things. He said I couldn't help him work because I don't drive. He said I'm bad in the kitchen. Like, basically tore me to shreds. And then he just like, was like, I'm sorry. And I'm like, no one asked you to come here and yell at me. Nobody. You chose to come here to get mad at me, and like, that's unacceptable. And honestly, I just finished doing what I was doing. I stayed and I helped my team because that's who I cared about. Even if he tore me to shreds, I still care about the team, and that's why I stayed and I finished my job. And then I went home and I cried. And I had emailed my old boss at Dairy Queen because of another incident, and I had asked them for my job back. And I didn't notice that they had answered me, but they did. So I like emailed them back and I was like, please, please, please. Like, I didn't care. I would have been making less money at Dairy Queen. I didn't care about any of that. I did not want to see his face again. Like, he just tore me to shreds. And so I just decided enough is enough. Like, I don't even care if he gives me a genuine apology. If he even regrets what he does, I do not care. I don't ever want to see him. I don't ever want to be near him again. So anyways, so I had made the decision to go back to Dairy Queen, and I'm there now, and I feel so much better about it. But I feel like this has been kind of weighing on me, and I just wanted to talk to someone about it, and like I've talked to people about it, but I feel like it's a little bit different just like putting it out there that like this happened. Because like as much as I want to tell my friends that I work with like what happened, I also don't want to ruin like their job, because I still care about them, and just because he treated me this way doesn't mean he'll treat everyone this way. But if he does, he's gonna lose a lot more people than just me. So basically, I had gone back to Dairy Queen, I had finalized that, and on my last day, I had quit to the owner instead of Bill. And Bill came up to me and he was like, so why didn't you quit to me? Like, why'd you quit to SpongeBob? We'll just call him that. That's the only time I'm gonna reference him. And I was like, well, I quit to him because my new boss, who was friends with him, asked me to, so he didn't think that he was like poaching me or like stealing me from him, because he wanted to maintain his friendship, which I totally would have done anyways. The only reason I like hadn't told anyone, sorry, my bra. The only reason I hadn't told anyone at A&W that I was leaving was because I'm not the type of person to step completely onto one boat until I'm fully certain that there's a boat there. That weird analogy, I don't know what it is, sorry. So I was like, yeah, of course, I'll tell him, and I'll make sure that he knows that like this was not a malicious thing. I don't know if I'm using that word right. I'm sorry. I'm not very good at speaking. But I wanted him to know that it like wasn't a rude thing, that like he didn't ask me to come back, I asked him. And so that was why I quit to SpongeBob and not Bill. That just sounds so stupid, I'm sorry. So basically, Bill was just pissed off, and even after I told him that, he was like, you don't care. And then I made a mistake, and he said that I didn't care, and I was livid, because I have given up so much in my 2 years of working at A&W for him, for the team. Like, I've given up time, I've given up like time with my family, I've given up money, like I bought stuff for the store and like not even cared about it. Like I could have gotten reimbursed for it, but it's like whatever, it is what it is. And I just couldn't believe that he was speaking to me in that way. And I said, do you even hear yourself? Like I was pissed at that point, and I was like, you can't fire me, I already quit, so you know what, I'm gonna stand up for myself, because I have been bullied before and I just let them walk all over me. But I thought, what do I have to lose? You know, the worst thing that can happen is he tells me to go home like a half an hour early. Big deal. So I was like, do you even hear yourself right now? You are being so disrespectful. I have done everything possible that I could. And he just kept going into me. And I'm not going to get into too much detail because I feel like this is already getting kind of long. But basically, he just had no respect for me, and he was walking all over me. And I'm not really the type of person to like call people out on shit, like sometimes by accident if I'm like really pissed off. That's why I don't like to talk to people when I'm really pissed off, because I know that I will say things that I don't mean. Anyways, so he laid into me and I was just done. I was pissed off. I wanted to punch out in that moment, but I also wanted to prove to him that I was strong enough and that I could work with him for the last 20 minutes and be fine and do my job. And so that's what I did. And he overheard me talking with one of my friends. They were like, oh, it's your last day, like how do you feel? And I was like, I feel relieved. And then they were like, are you okay? And I was like, I'll text you later. And then he asked me, or I asked him, sorry, I was like, do you need anything else? And he said no. And then I slammed my store keys down on the desk, and then I went and I got changed. And after I got changed, our like staff bathroom is like right next to the office. He was sitting in the office and he was like, Sierra, can I talk to you like as a person, not as your boss? And I so badly wanted to say to him, you're not my boss, and just walk away. But I think the bigger person in me wanted to just hear what he had to say. And even if it was shit, at least I heard him. So I did. And he did apologize, but honestly, I hate when people always say, oh, you should forgive people, because yes, like if someone does something small, you should forgive them. But if someone just truthfully makes you look like an idiot in front of all of your peers, in front of people who respect you, and then they like trash talk you, you don't need to forgive anyone. If you don't want to, you don't have to. Like, that's the end of it. And I'm not saying like hold a grudge for your entire life, which I am the queen of holding grudges, let me just tell you. But like, You don't need to forgive people if you don't want to. Like, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And I'm not going to forgive him. And he said that he hoped I come back. I'm not going back. As long as he works for A&W, heck no. I'll stay at Dairy Queen till the day I die over working for him again. Not a chance in hell. Okay, anyways, sorry. Long rant. Basically, the reason why I wanted to make this video was just to encourage everyone. If you're scared of saying something, if you're scared of doing something, my old boss told me this. She's like, because I was telling her how I was so afraid to stand up to him because I was gonna get in trouble, and she's like, you're gonna get in trouble anyways. Like, if you don't say anything, you're gonna get in trouble for whatever you did wrong, and if you call him out on something, you're gonna get in trouble for that. So what does it matter? And I was like, you know what, you're right. So I'm not saying be rude or be disrespectful, but if you truly believe in something, stand up for it. Like, that's all that matters. And as long as you know that at the end of the day you're doing what's right for you, then that's all that matters. Like, a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, you're so dumb. Like, you're going to making less money. Like, you're going to not be a manager anymore. And I was like, honestly, I don't even care. I could be making $4 an hour, which is illegal, but whatever. Pretend I'm making $4 an hour. I would much rather make that than the amount that I made at A&W, because at Dairy Queen I'm respected and they want me there, and they constantly tell me, hey, you're doing a good job. And they're like, oh, you're awesome, like, thank you for doing that. Or like, did you already get this? It's like, yeah, I got it. And they're like, awesome, that's great. And I missed that. I missed feeling valued and appreciated. And I'm not saying I never felt that at A&W, because I definitely did from my peers, but not from my boss and the person that was in charge of me. And so basically, the whole point of this video is just stand up for what you believe in. If you know you're being mistreated and you deserve better, go get better. Like, I had been trying to leave for months, and for so long I didn't want to leave and make less money than I was, because I didn't want, I was just scared of making less money. But honestly, I've been gone from A&W for a little over a week, and I'm so happy that I'm gone. Like, you don't even understand how happy I am. Like, I know I kind of look like I'm shit right now, but it's just thinking about everything that happened. It makes me angry, but I feel so happy to be somewhere where I'm appreciated and where I'm wanted, where I'm respected, and where they want me to work. Sorry, do I have a double chin? Oh well, if I do, it's fine. But, like, don't let anyone tell you who you are. And like, he was telling me that I was disrespectful to people that I'm friends with, people that I hang out with outside of work. He was like, oh yeah, you're disrespectful to so-and-so. And I'm like, then how come so-and-so and I hung out last week? Why would they want to hang out with me if I'm disrespectful? If they already have to deal with me at work, I wouldn't want to hang out with you if you outside of work. I really want to be with you at work. Like, he was just very rude, and I think he thought that he was like God's gift to A&W. Which, like, don't get me wrong, he's good at his job. I'm not denying that in any way, shape, or form, but he wasn't like this amazing, like, superstar that was like, oh my gosh, we love him, he's doing great, he's the best. And I'm not trying to slander him, but he did the same thing to me, so. But anyways, it is what it is. I want to just put it behind me. I learned a lot from working at A&W, regardless of what happened. I even learned how to take, enough's enough, and you gotta leave sometimes. And even if that means, you're making less money, you're getting less hours, sometimes those things are less important than your happiness. Actually, always, those things are less important than your happiness. Your happiness should always be number one, and that's why I had to get out of there, because it was toxic. But I still love everyone else that works there. I still talk to some of them. I went there the other day because I wanted food, and Bill came up to me and he said, how's Dairy Queen going? And the petty person in me wanted to be like, great, it's so good that I'm finally in a place where I'm respected. But I was like, you know what, I don't want to do that. Regardless of if he was rude to me, I'm gonna be the bigger person and not be rude to him. So I just said, it's good, thank you. That was it. And honestly, if I see him again, Really hope I don't, but if I do, I do. Like, we live in a smallish town, so I'll probably see him again. Actually, I know I'll see him again because I haven't returned my uniform yet because I've been procrastinating doing that. Yay. But regardless, I just wanted to make this video to show that you should stand up for what you think is right. If you're not being treated properly, then get out of it. Like, whether it's in school, like, even if you just like need a break for 5 minutes. I remember so many times in class I would be bawling my eyes out and like I just didn't know what to do. And one day my teacher was like, you need a break, and they let me go to the bathroom. And honestly, that helped me a lot because 1, I wasn't bawling my eyes out in front of my classmates anymore, and 2, it just gave me some time to just kind of regroup and recollect myself. And I was just like, all right, I can do this, I'll figure it out, I'll make it work. And yeah, so basically, just if you're feeling down and you know why and you know what the cause of it is, you need to get away from whatever that is. And even if it's something hard, like even if it's your family, if you're in a toxic situation, you need to get out of it because that's not healthy for you and that's not what's going to make you happy in the long run. And even if it means, you know, losing a family member, if that family member is not doing anything like positive in your life, why should you accept that? I'm not saying like every single time you get into an argument with someone you're like, oh, I'm gonna like disown them from my life. Like, don't only think of the negative, remember everything good that has happened. There's a quote or something from a movie or a TV show, I don't remember what show, but it's like, don't let the last, I'm 20, so we'll just pretend that this is with my mom. Don't let the last 20 years be ruined by 5 minutes. No, my mom and I are fine, so I'm not talking about her. I'm just kind of using that as an example. But I feel like that's really powerful as well, because it's like, don't ruin something over nothing. Like, don't ruin a good relationship over a petty text message or over some argument. Like, I feel like I'm very much a petty person, and one of my old friends actually told me I had a death glare that kills. And as much as I laugh about that now, I feel kind of like bad about that because I have burned a lot of bridges with people, either because it was petty and in the moment, or because I just either thought that eventually they would leave me, because I've had a lot of friends just, you know, not be my friends anymore. And I have to realize that as much as, you know, people have wronged me, I have also wronged other people. I'll admit that. I'm not perfect. I've definitely said some things that I shouldn't have said. Like, that is what it is, but I also have to understand that I'm stuck with myself for the rest of my life, so I kind of have to deal with that and know that at the end of the day, even if the other person doesn't believe my apology, I do believe that what I did was wrong. Like with Bill telling him he couldn't run 2 stores, I know that the way I said it was wrong, even though I still think he can't, but we're moving on. So basically, this was just a long ramble of me basically telling you guys that no matter what happens in your life, you should always just stand up for what you believe in and don't take people's bullshit. Sorry that I swore, but it is what it is. I have 3 subscribers, so I'm sorry if any of you were offended by my swearing, but yeah, don't take anyone's bullshit. And if people are treating you terribly, get out of it. Like, it doesn't matter who it is. You don't need to be anyone's victim. And you are better than what people tell you. So anyways, that was my long rant. I'm gonna stop this now because I feel like I could talk for 30 million years. But anyways, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And I'll see you guys next time. And hopefully this one will be a little less rambly.